Hi, my name is John Adair. I'm a 33-year-old non-traditional student at the University of Oregon, and I am a senior studying journalism. I'm here to present today my project called Love Unbound, Incarcerated Black Fathers and the Family Experience. This project came to be after talking with my mentor at Madison, a School of Journalism and Communications staff member, and after having received funding for my research through Ducks Rise. This research matters because Black men continue to be the largest population of incarcerated individuals in the United States. Knowing that incarceration has a negative impact on families, and in particular the children of those families, it is of great importance to understand what can be done and what currently is being done. And above all else, what is actually working when it comes to tackling the issue of generational incarceration. The reason why I'm personally conducting this research is because I am also a father. I found out that my fiance was pregnant a few months before I got funding for this research, and I am proud to say that I am now the father of triplets. Being a Black father in America, where systemic issues are at play that could see me going to jail or even dead over the simplest thing as a traffic stop, it brings a lot of concern for me in operating in the world and knowing that at any moment something bad could happen that would leave my children without a father. And I want to know what it's like for other Black men and Black fathers in general, um, how they handle that, how it impacts them, and what are they finding to be most helpful to them in getting through this hard time in their life. So the way I conducted my research was by digging through articles and publications that were already done. Simply put, I don't have the access to have direct contact with incarcerated Black fathers, and there was simply not enough time for me to get in touch with formerly incarcerated Black fathers, the scale and scope of which was too much for me to take on at the time. So I reserved myself to just looking into what had already been done and compiling all of the details, the facts and notes of what is going on in this world for these men. Suffice it to say, the results of my research show that there's a complex web when it comes to incarcerated Black fathers and the family experience. First of all, there is the fact to consider that for a lot of these men, they had poor father figures themselves growing up. And so not having a solid role model could lead to them having poor decision making and what it means to be a father themselves. They could also be victims of generational incarceration as well, being a single link in the long chain of events that have led to their current stance in life. In addition to having a poor father figure or no father figure at all growing up, there are also the psychological and emotional impacts that stem from reentry. When it comes to being outside of prison and interacting with their children, there are feelings of inadequacy that are noted in some research when it comes to maintaining their lifestyle and staying out of trouble. Systemic issues such as housing restrictions and lack of employment or being treated unfairly due to racism all play a factor in how well these men maintain their reentry. The stronger the feelings of inadequacy seem to result in a higher recidivism rate. Another factor to generational incarceration is the fact that the more a person is incarcerated, the less likely they are to maintain contact with their children. The reasons for this appear to be that the individuals feel that as they wind up behind bars more often, the more likely they feel that their child is better off without them, or they just outright lose hope entirely in their ability to maintain their image as a father figure. And speaking of being a father figure, it's been shown that there is a loss of paternal identity as a person is in a prison environment. And so there is the simple fact of being in a prison that leads to an individual losing sight of what matters and what is waiting for them outside. However, what's waiting out for them outside can also be a strong motivating factor for them and can actually strengthen their ability to maintain their paternal identity. With one inmate saying, quote, "I even told my baby mama, like, even though my daughters couldn't like read and write and all that, I told them I don't even care if you just let them sit there and scribble on a piece of paper. Send that to me because that's sentimental to me. That still lets me know that, yeah, daddy is still there. I'm still in their head some way, shape, or form. I'm still there." So the stuff like that still helps, but it's just, like I said, it'd be hard still. End quote. This leads to another important factor in the complexity of Black fatherhood behind bars, and that is the partner, the mother, the parent, the other parent of the child, having a key role in how well an inmate has contact with the children. In multiple studies, I found that it is often the mother who acts as a large barrier for these fathers to get past. And so it is vital for these fathers to not only maintain a good standing with their co-parent, but also to strengthen the bond between them as well, so that there's an understanding in how crucial it is for them to maintain that contact with their children. What I found was most helpful for these men while incarcerated were programs that were designed specifically for helping them in becoming better father figures themselves. While there were a number of them that I came across, the ones that seemed to work the best were ones that were based off of a theoretical framework. One program I came across is called Parenting Inside Out, and another called Strengthened Families, which is based off of Parenting Inside Out program. The Strengthened Families program is currently being implemented in the Washington Department of Corrections. There are two factors at play that when it comes to the success of these programs for Black fathers specifically. One being that there's an understanding of the cultural identity of these men and the systemic issues that they have had to face. The other factor of strengthened families, at least, is it being a strength-based program, namely it being a way to help reduce parent-child stress. One method is to not focus on the negative stereotypes of Black fathers and that the image of all Black fathers being ones who more often abandon their children, but rather to have these men focus on the positive aspects of being a father when they are present and when they have had a father-like figure present in their lives. Having an awareness of the negative stereotype of Black fathers can actually impact their ideological beliefs of what a Black father is and can actually lead to an internalization of those stereotypes. When it comes to my literary research, this is where I have to call it an end. The points that I've spoken about throughout this presentation seem to be popping up throughout all of the research that I come across. And so even though there are some new details that I find every now and then, the points still stand that these are the primary issues that most of these fathers face. And so, with that in mind, I plan to take my research further by meeting with these fathers directly and documenting their stories individually. I have met directly with Washington Department of Corrections faculty members and specifically the people who run the Strength in Families program. They liked my research and my project idea of being able to go into the prison system and interview these Black fathers on their experience directly, both with the program and with their progress. Currently, I'm still waiting to hear back on my proposal. It's been submitted to their higher ups, and I have been in contact with the faculty members. However, they've told me that it is a long process, as with anything involving our prison system here in the United States. So it's merely a matter of patience for before I actually hear anything back of whether or not I can continue this project. And so with that, I would like to thank you for listening to my presentation on my project, Love Unbound, Incarcerated Black Fathers and the Family Experience. Thank you.